was your life during the Cold War?
Most part, I was, a kid, so we had, there was always concern about like nuclear war. So we had drills in school. We would like hide under our desk, in case, I don't know now, looking at it as an adult, what good that would have done, but we would do that at school occasionally. It really didn't affect my life, but I'm old enough that I remembered when, Ronald Reagan was the president and he challenged the Russians to tear down a wall in Berlin and that sort of thing. So that's probably my biggest memory of the Cold War, but I don't know that it really impacted my day-to-day life.
Oh, that makes sense. So, what sort of difficulties did you face as a result of the Cold War?
Say that, ask that again.
Oh, like how did you face any difficulties about, like as a result of the Cold War?
I mean, it was just sort of that's the way things were. It's I was a teenager. I was a preteen and a teenager in the 70s and into the 80s. I can't remember. It would have been in the 80s when the Berlin Wall came down. So I was like my 20s when the Berlin Wall came down, but it was, I was young father then, was married and had one child that was, 1 year old. And so I remember that being a very big deal. It was just sort of, I don't know how to explain it. It's just there was none. You just sort of accepted it. There was, always maybe in the back of our minds, maybe a little concern. The biggest threat was the concern that there would be a nuclear war.
Oh.
So, but it didn't dominate, as a kid, you really didn't think about it. It was more the drills, in school, sort of like, maybe you had fire drills in school. We did that. And like when I was in elementary school, we would have these nuclear attack drills, where we would, like I said, they would sound the alarm and we would, kind of kneel under our desk or whatever at school.
Oh.
And we didn't really think about that. I don't know that it was something that I was real anxious about or really gave a whole lot of thought to. It was more just, that's kind of the way the world was, but it was, Ronald Reagan was president. He was the president that I was old enough to vote for, and he was willing to chat. He was willing to negotiate with the Soviet Union and the Soviet bloc. And I remember the speech when he, challenged Mikhail Gorbachev, who was the president, prime minister. He was the head of Russia, to tear down the Berlin Wall, because at that time, East Germany and West Germany was a divided nation. And so that was a big thing. As a member of the church, when, it was a big deal that a temple was allowed to be built in East Germany. So that was a big, really remarkable thing. It was just, that was announced. It was like, it was the members of the church. I can remember, you could probably ask your parents, to think, okay, wow, that, they're going to build a temple in a communist country. It was just not something that, as a member of the church, you'd ever thought would happen.
Oh
it was. And then shortly after that, you know, you could see the Lord's hand in it, that the Berlin Wall came down and Germany was reunited as a democratic country, and all these other countries that were under Russian control, like Poland and Georgia and the Ukraine, you know, they were free. You know, they became free. So it was the witness, you know, now it's like I witnessed history.
Interesting.